Divine Nine series is the international president of Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity Incorporated, and he's joining us on how his organization is focusing on women's rights to turn out the vote ahead of this pivotal midterm election. Stay with us, y'all. Folks, because we are only 37 days away from the midterm elections. The polls have tightened, voters are paying attention, and very soon, early voting in key states will begin. Today, we are continuing our series of conversations with the presidents of the Divine Nine, with the international president of Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity Incorporated. Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity Incorporated was founded at Howard University in 1914 by 3 black men who wanted to exemplify brotherhood, scholarship, and service. Their motto, culture for service and service for humanity, is built upon the principles of gaining skills and delivering those skills back to the communities and people they serve. There are 599 active chapters and 225,000 members have been initiated since it was founded. I want to bring in Chris Ray, the 36th International President of Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity Incorporated. And Amir, I helped get elected. Chris Ray was one of the first races I ever worked on, so it's a full circle moment for me, sir. They didn't mess around and make you international, elected you international president. Well, let's talk about this, President Ray. You have 24 graduate chapters and 17 undergraduate chapters in Florida alone. How are the Sigmas mobilizing to help Floridians in the aftermath of Ian?
Well, let me first say thank you for the invitation, for being here. Florida is one of our largest states that we have our members. We have about 200 brothers that we know right now that have been impacted. A little bit over 200 brothers have been impacted. One specifically in the Fort Myers area. He's 93 years old. Brother Ulysses Bryant, whose home was completely flooded. And so we as a brotherhood are wrapping our arms around him and getting him all the services that he needs until the government moves in and they start doing their part. One of the things we're telling our brothers to do now is to make sure that they secure their families, make sure that they have what they need, but then loan our manpower when it's necessary in the communities that are going to need us, because that's what we do. That's what the men of Phi Beta Sigma do. We've been doing it for the last 108 years, but we are trying to make sure that we're in a place where we are going to be a help, because there are some devastated areas that have been impacted.
I mean, to say the least, we've been showing the images on our show throughout the network, and it is in Florida, devastation, not to mention Puerto Rico, where the president will be visiting tomorrow. I want to talk about the midterm election because Phi Beta Sigma actually led the way for the Divine Nine's Tell Somebody campaign. Yes, we have the PSA. It was narrated by Jennifer Lewis. I want folks to take a look at this because it specifically advocated for women's bodily autonomy. Take a listen, folks.
Tell somebody. The Supreme Court's decision overturned nearly 50 years of legal protection of a woman's right to an abortion.
It's amazing, doing the work. This ad speaks directly to you all's social action program to really improve the well-being of disenfranchised folks. What exactly are the Sigmas doing to stress the importance of these elections on the ground in their various communities? This PSA is wonderful, but how are you going into the barbershops? Are you going into the beauty shops?
Oh, absolutely. We have a whole campaign where we are mobilizing at every level. So we tell our chapters that registering people to vote is not enough, right? Registering them is not enough. You have to educate individuals as well on the candidates that are running and the issues that are on the ballot. And so we're having, whether there's our own mini town halls, webinars, making sure that individuals know the kind of candidates that are running, because just because you're in a specific party doesn't mean that you're for us. And so you have to make sure that you are educating the individuals that are running, but then also after you've registered them, after you have educated them, now you got to get them to the polls. And so come election day, our mantra to our brothers are, make sure that you don't go to the polls by yourself. You make sure you take someone with you. And then on election day, you make sure that you're standing out at the polls, that you are, whether it's passing out literature, passing out water in the states that you can.
In the states that you can.
In the states that you can. But that the day after election day, you should absolutely be exhausted. You should be tired because we've done everything that we were supposed to do to get the people out because of the issue that I have.
President Ray, I'm short on time, but I know Sigma, PAC 1914, you all have a $1 million war chest, if you will. Who are some of the key candidates you've endorsed?
At this time, right now, of course, we're looking at Senator Warnock, because we recognize that he speaks to the values that are important to us. We have Senator Kamlager, that is out of California, who is going to be hopefully the next congressional member of Congress, because again, she speaks to the issues that are important to our community, and we're focused on making sure that we identify other candidates that are going to be doing that as well, that are going to be supporting us.
Thank you so much for being here, for breaking it down for the people. I appreciate you, my friend Chris Ray, the 36th International President of Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity Incorporated. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having us.
All right. Up next, it's time for the regroup, y'all. We are getting into our culture critics and their thoughts on the new Hocus Pocus film and the USC major rep.